Hey everybody, welcome to Princess Juliana Airport. We are here in the ATR 72. I'm going to show you how I get the engines going and the plane ready for departure. First thing is first I get rid of the yoke because it's in the way. Second thing I do, come over here to aircraft and I'm going to select hotel mode. Now the reason I select hotel mode, this airplane, November Yankee Tango Tango Charlie, is an actual airplane in the Caribbean Airlines ATR fleet. This airplane flew 7 legs yesterday. It's going to fly 7 legs today in the real world. And what that means is you are starting in turnaround mode, hotel mode, 80% of the time, 90% of the time. And I just don't see the need for doing cold and dark starts all the time just to prove that I can do it. So I'm just going to wait here for the avionics to come up. While this is blinking, I just hit the master caution button. And while the avionics are coming up, I'll come up here. I'll turn on the main oxygen supply. I will put set this selection to bright. This just turns the all the panel lights up a little bit. And then I will turn the seatbelt sign off because it shouldn't be on, and I will turn the logo light off because that shouldn't be on. These two are on when you start when you load into the plane, and they shouldn't be. So I just turn those off real quick. Come down here, and you can see that we are up and going. We're in hotel mode. We can look here, and engine number 2 is in hotel mode. I'll show you real quick my throttle quadrant settings. My thrust settings are my thrust levers are both at idle. Engine number 1 is set to fuel shutoff. Engine number 2 is set to feather because we need fuel for hotel mode. And this is the position that I put these in, the physical position I put these in on my Honeycomb Bravo as I'm loading in from the world map page. It's just automatic for me to slide the levers into this position for the ATR to get going on a flight. So that's good. I'm gonna come back over here, and I'm gonna turn off the ground powers because I don't need either of them. I'm not using them. Come here to flight plan, click import flight plan, and you can see the flight plan has been imported. Now I'm using track IR5, so I'm kind of always moving my head around to get the views of what I want to be able to see. And what I'm going to do is hit set flight plan, and I'm going to watch over here to make sure that the HSI comes alive and that there's a waypoint here that tells me that the flight plan has been imported successfully. Then I'm going to come over here and we're going to go to payload. Payload, you can see there's no weights loaded into the tablet right now. I'm going to click load aircraft. And then I'm going to come up here and I open this app I have called SimBrief Panel, which you can get from flightsim.to. I will put a link in the description to download this fantastic little program. You just click the fetch button and it retrieves your latest flight plan from SimBrief. What we want here is the payload. So we look here, 0 fuel weight, 43,336. But what I want is 33,870. So we'll delete this 37,870, excuse me. Type that in. Fuel, block fuel we want is 5505. So we'll type that in. And then our gross weight, 43,375, should be pretty close to what our takeoff weight is. And it is, so we're happy with that. So then I will click the start loading button, and you can see the weights are now loaded into the tablet here, and the takeoff trim has been computed. I'm going to click close, then I'll click set takeoff trim, and we're good to go as far as that goes. What I would normally do now is I would normally come down here and I would set up my radios, I would set up my nav radios, all that fun stuff. I'm not going to do that going through the flight plan would make the video too long. You can see the flight plan is loaded. The one thing you do want to check to make sure, click the perf button, and you click in the lower left bit of this panel here, and you're going to see your V speeds, V1, V rotate, V2, 106, 106, 110. They should match these three. Confirm takeoff data, and those turn green, and you know you're good to go. Click here and perf init. This normally I would fill all this out as well, but I'm not going to do that in this video. Come here to weight, and let me get a little closer here so you can see it a little better. And then you can see the zero fuel weight, fuel on board, and gross weight match pretty much here, these numbers, and then zero fuel weight pretty close to that number, 37,923, couple, you know, maybe 50 pounds off. Fuel on board pretty darn close. Gross weight 43,360, 43,15, 43,375. So we're good to go. Weights are all pretty much the same. That's what we're looking for. So now what I'm going to do is bring up the engine page. You click in the upper right hand corner here, and you'll get the engine page. Then we'll come over here and do the before propeller rotation checklist. CDL's on. FMS and takeoff data confirmed. You can see confirmed, and the numbers are green. The takeoff numbers are green, so you're good to go there. Trims, 3 axes. Takeoff trim is set. Aileron trim is neutral. Rudder trim is neutral. That's what you're looking for. Tail prop and doors are the next two things we're looking for. So we'll come over here. Aircraft, tail prop, doors, good to go there. So check. Oh, yes, check. And then seat belts on, beacon on. We'll come up top. Seat belts on, beacon on, good to go. Check. Checklist complete. All right, so now we're ready to start the engines. So I'm going to come over here to the flight plan. I just like to have that there. So everything should be ready to start. Come up top here, and I'm going to turn the fuel pump on, and I'm going to hit the number 1 starter, and then I'm going to come down here, and this number right here is going to come up. Once that number exceeds 10, then you bring the number 1 condition lever up to feather. And then you're going to see the start indication. You can see the oil pressure rising. You're going to see the ITT and the NH coming up. And once these two numbers stabilize, which they are nice and stable right now, usually around 530 and 68. Once those numbers stabilize, then I come over here and bring the number 1 condition lever to auto. And then pretty soon over here, you are going to see the low pitch indication. So we are good to go. Number 1 engine is started and running. And then there's a little trick to getting the number 2 engine out of the prop brake. Now you do not have to use this hydraulic pump button, and I'll show you why. Because we have hydraulic pressure, 3,000 pounds per square inch, 3,000 pounds per square inch. We've got hydraulic pressure on the entire aircraft, so we don't need that external. I don't know why people insist you have to press that button. Get the number 1 engine going, number 2 engine in hotel mode. You've got hydraulic power, okay? Full hydraulic power, you can see. But as you can see up here, the prop brake is engaged. I don't know if it's an issue with my Honeycomb Bravo, with the Honeycomb Bravo, whatever the case may be. This number 2 condition lever, I have to move the physical lever just a hair out of the feather position. It's not going to move in the sim, but I just moved it with my hand, maybe a 1/4 inch, just a little tiny bit out of the feather position, on my physical Bravo. And then what you can do is open the prop brake that right there, turn it off, close it, come back down here. These numbers are already stabilized because the engine's been running. So then I'm going to move it up into the auto setting, just like the other engine. And then pretty soon here, we're going to get low pitch mode. Then we've got our before taxi checklist, and we are good to go. So that's how I start the ATR. I start it in hotel mode. I get rid of the external power supplies, get the aircraft set up, start the number 1 engine, confirm that I have hydraulic pressure after I've started the number 1 engine, move the number 2 condition lever just a tiny little bit out of the feather position, start the number 2 engine, release the prop brake, and then we're good to go. Then we turn the engine starter switch to off, turn the probe heats on, the windshield heats on, then come over here and turn the transducer rectifier unit on. You want that on for over water ops, which I always fly, of course. And then you just want to check, make sure everything is good. You don't have any lights illuminated. Yeah, and then I got both engines going. And then what I'll do is I'll select an initial climb altitude. In this case, I'm going to pick 5,000 because 5,000 is the transition altitude leaving out of Princess Juliana. So I'll set that to 5,000. I will click IAS mode because I want indicated airspeed mode on departure. Select this button one time because I want it in auto. You will confirm by this magenta number that it's in auto. Heading hold will engage automatically. And then what I want to do is hit the nav button because I want LNAV in the backup. So now I am good to go. I am ready to push back and depart. Just run your before taxi checklist, and the way I push the ATR back is I just throw the throttles into reverse, and that's it. And into beta mode, and then it pushes itself back. Fantastic little feature. So if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a shout in the comments, and I will try and answer any questions you have. But this is how I start the ATR every single day. I will at some point do a video on how I do flight planning and how I enter the flight plan into the ATR because there are some tricks to it. But I just wanted to keep this video focused on getting the airplane up and ready to go. So I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you have a good day of flying, and we'll talk soon.